Welcome to 2B2T No Life. 2B2T No Life is a video series where 2B2T content creators fight for the title of Biggest No Lifer through a series of games and death challenges. It's like Last Life, but with 2B2T players. The rules of the game are simple. Everyone gets 3 lives and must work together to acquire resources and secure a base. But on a player's last life, all alliances are cut off and they must kill, steal, and grief to make sure they don't lose. Think of it as Minecraft hardcore, but with 3 lives. Oh, and it all takes place in 2B2T spawn, except we've also loaded 1.18 chunks underneath it and set a world border of 1,000 blocks. Traversing the dangerous map will be a test that only the most experienced Anarchy players can overcome. Most people can't even escape spawn without dying. We'll have to live here. Each creator will have a different perspective leading up to the final showdown, so make sure to tune into them all so you don't miss a single beat. Special thanks to Turbin and Orson for getting the server plugins running, and to Bezo Passin for bringing us all together. This is 2B2T No Life.
Last time on 2B2T No Life.
Why is the server still up, by the way? I think everyone's just grinding.
Yeah, I'm giving Jack a little minute.
Yeah, I don't know. We should shut it down right now, Bezo.
I'll give it about 3 more minutes and then I'll take it down.
Okay. Sure, bro.
That was a good session.
It was.
That was a fantastic session.
Almost back.
It really was not.
There was so much. There was a shit ton of content for that session.
It would be
though.
really fun.
That's
This
true.
would have been such a fun session if it wasn't the bugs, honestly. Like, I personally got
I mean, after we got all the shit figured out at the beginning, though, it got a lot better. And there's just a ton of shit that happened.
Okay.
Yeah. It's fun. I was very confused at the start. Oh! Oh.
Yeah, I kind of sort of did what you just saw there. So at the end of the previous episode, Bezo basically blamed Fast Vincent, who apparently was literally crawling around in the floor around the area there, for thieving the enchanting table in the central area. Well, no, I did it. I went off into the mines or the depths of the caves to try and find that last diamond. As you can see, I did find a little bit more, but I just needed 1 more diamond to get my helmet, and then obviously I wanted to enchant it on the spot. But the moment I got down there, Bezo starts blaming Vincent for having stolen the table, and I'm just like, oh, maybe they'll fight and eliminate each other. Maybe I won't have to worry about it. But either way, it didn't really matter because... All right. We done?
There it goes.
There we go.
We're done. We're done.
Oh my god, my ass hurts so much.
Huge
What a session.
I can't believe
man.
Vincent, listen. Did you take the table? If you did, that is a common W from you.
So yeah, the entire session ended in a pretty quick manner without any real resolution to it. The moment we get back in, and this is now session 3, Vincent Bezo is immediately threatening Vincent with basically an all-out war, but you're gonna see real quick that don't matter. It's more just me rooting around trying to find diamond. I was thinking about strip mining or chunk mining again, sort of get away from this area because we're at spawn, and I don't want to be at spawn because what I'm being told is some of the scariest shit. So as it turns out, there is a group of hunters that are about to be released, and they are some serious mofos. There's some minor issues with getting the server to behave and all that, but those pretty well get ironed out real quick. And it's more just me rooting around on my belly trying to figure out where I'm going and what I'm trying to get. So I break into a section of cave here in a second. And it's really hard to see. It goes by super fast. I didn't notice it in the time, but there was a diamond in the wall that I missed. Would have made my journey that much easier, but oh well. So I, of course, get some gold because I'm thinking about bartering in the future. I'm just sort of roaming around. Nothing too fancy here. I'm just kind of waiting for the ball to drop, and for Syndicate, Clown Pierce, Kingaros, and Sirach drop to all be put into the game. They are our hunters, and we've been given like a 3-minute grace period or so. Bezo pulls me and sleuthing into a private, Discord server Discord call to just hash out what we're gonna do. I already told Bezo that I've fleed the cave. Like, I'm not staying there. I know better than to stay there. I get down on my belly again to sort of minimize the amount of land I gotta clear. And we're basically just trying to, figure out where diamonds are. And I inadvertently break back into the same section of cave that I explored last episode. Really kind of nostalgic to see this place after a week and a half. Quite funny. Right on my right is where that diamond fossil was. Gee, how I wish I could find another one of those. But sadly, nothing that amazingly lucky happens. However, I do remember that this section is connected to that underground mine shaft that's out to the way over here. You can kind of see I go up around the sides a bit. Not really, I'm not in a hurry. I don't really see a reason to be in a hurry, but I'm also kind of like worried as to what exactly is about to happen. And so basically what happens is, it's going to go by really quick, so it's going to be hard to see. Wolves and rabbits. There are 4 hunters who will attempt to hunt down all the current no-life players. And if that player has all their lives eliminated by a hunter, that hunter gets to join no life and take the person's place. And so I'm basically trying to explore the rest of that mine shaft I was in to pretty well get some diamond. And it's here, after a bit of wandering around, I gather more berries for food because I'm like, oh god, what if I have to eat these? These things are terrible, but it's the best I got. And sure enough, I end up stumbling across a section of cave that I didn't get to explore previously. And right in the wall here, I find my final 5th diamond to make that final helmet, and I can now enchant my stuff. And then it's at this point that it dawns on me, I've hacked through so many spider webs, and I've made enough progress that I need to make a new bed, and I need to make a bed in a hidden out-of-the-way area. And so I start smelting up some deep slate to kind of hide my way out and cover up this whole area. I realize deep slate is directional, and that fucks up what I was doing, and I'm like, oh god, I got to do it all over again. So I start smelting up more, clear out the little area, make a little bed, make a little base area, and I make a bed, set my spawn, throw the enchanting table down because I don't need it and I don't want it falling into anyone's hands, throw some extra stuff, some gold, my old iron helmet, some bones, some iron to make tools, weapons, more string for beds. Duper Trooper dies, but I think that was just because he was already in ghost mode. It's just he's screwing around, nothing too special. Make some golden boots so that I don't get attacked. I make a nether portal on the off chance that I need to. And I start leaving post-haste because I do not want to get found. It's at this point it dawns on me that Orsund is streaming the whole time, and he's streaming in spectator mode, watching the hunters. And so I'm like, well, I gotta go down on my belly into the bedrock lowest parts, and I gotta like burrow around and root around, pretend I'm like, like I'm an earthworm. I've got to be like as far away out of everybody's reach. I can just tunnel around at bedrock and nobody will find me. And I'm now stream sniping Orsund, I believe, at this point, and I'm watching his movements and their movements, and he's kind of, following them around, but it's like, yeah, we don't know what to really do. We don't know how good they are. All the hunters have been given vanilla diamond gear, no enchantments, and they've each been given a special weapon. I believe Kingaros was given a... I try to make torches here because I thought you could make those with glowberries. Turns out that was something in a mod years ago. Kingaros is given a crystal. Syndicate is given a god apple. Sirach Drop was given a strength 2 potion. And Clown. Clown Pierce was by far the most dangerous. Clown was given an elytra with rockets. And it's at this point I see Bezo, and I'm like, Bezo, we gotta team up. We gotta stay together. And... we gotta make it out of here. And I meet up with Bezo, and we're like, hey, we're gonna reach the surface because I'm seeing in Orsund's stream they are in a lush cave underground in the deep slate area, and they're in an abandoned mine shaft. And I'm like, ah, shit, that's where I am. And I'm like, okay, is this area safe? And then I'm like, okay, now they're in an aquifer. And I'm like, oh, wait, no. Enchantments may mean things like Frostwalker. What if somebody has Frostwalker? I think that Frostwalker trail was just from, the world download, didn't mean anything. And I'm like, okay, we got to get up. We got to pillar up to like 319. We got to protect ourselves. Little do I know that Clown Pierce is in the voice chat with us, and he's hearing us say stuff like, yeah, we got to get up high, we got to get out of there, got to get out on the ground. And I'm like, oh fuck, he knows. And so Bezo's idea is really quick to I see some leaves here. I'm like, we can get saplings. And he's like, no, we got to hide in this lava cast, because apparently Clown Pierce was hot on our trail. He missed us, so I managed to sort of make this internal space a living space. All the while, I'm kind of paranoid of Bezo, because Bezo has 1 life now. Bezo is not in a good position, and there's not much else that can be done about it. So we kind of like abandon the hide in the lava cast deal, and we're just kind of like, okay, where can we go? What can we do? And so Bezo has the idea to take us, and Orson teleports on top of us, scaring us half to death. Bezo has the idea to go to Jared Town, which is 666 positive, 666 positive. And so I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. That's as good a spot as any. So we sort of gradually trek our way over there, figure out, there's schools of cod here and there. Bezo traps an Enderman in a boat here in a second. We get a pearl out of that, and I'm like, yeah, that's decent. Not much else we can really do. One pearl is better than none. And we just kind of gradually make our way to Jared Town. If in retrospect, I really wish I had grabbed some sand here from this bank, because we get cod for food, which is a much needed thing. But as it turns out, sand would be much more valuable. But here's hoping that I can maybe employ some sort of a strat regarding that. I'm whispering to Bezo. He's in their voice call listening, talking to other people. We're near the border, and I'm deathly afraid of getting near the border, because it can kill you from up to like 3 or 4 blocks away. You don't even have to touch the border. You can just be too close to it, and that be enough. Poor thing. It's just like it's so nerve-wracking. And of course, we're taking advantage of all the schools of fish that are spawning, because this is probably our last chance to get food. And we're sort of juking our way around them. They're somewhere near the 0-0 area, and I think they were even in the nether at this point, because they can go anywhere they want, same as the rest of us. And so we're like, okay, if they're going to fuck around in the nether, we're going to be in the overworld, and we're going to be way far away. Because if you're going to try to make a nether portal and hop back into the overworld, you have to be within, I want to say, like 100 or less of nether spawn. You can't go too far away, because if you do, you'll appear outside the border. So it's not likely we're going to get jumped from them outside a nether portal, at least I hope not. Portal mechanics are always, screwy. You can pretty well jump into the nether from anywhere inside the world border from the overworld side, and you can pretty safely guarantee you won't be near the border in the nether. But the border in the nether is 8 times far away as it is in the overworld, so you really can't jump back into the overworld, so it's really like... ugh. And yet more sand areas that we pass through. We kill some creepers, get some gunpowder. I have lots of gunpowder, but I don't have sand, and I really kind of wish I had thought of that. We finally do make it to Jared Town, and I don't think we're being stream sniped, but I know that Orson had been following us. This whole area is riddled with obsidian, and that makes me very, very unsettled, because I know that someone's bound to have an ender crystal. Being in a field of obsidian is probably the last place you want to be. I happen upon an old 2016 sign, whatever. And then Bezo tells me, go to the nether and start bartering with piglins to get a book, because we need a new enchanting table. I've still not told Bezo that I'd placed the enchanting table. Now I don't have the enchanting table, so it would do me no good to really say, hey Bezo, I had that enchanting table, I took it. Doesn't really matter. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll try to get a book. The odds of getting a soul speed book from a piglin are really, really low. I know this. I'm really not out for the book. I'm out for whatever goodies they'll give me. I end up getting pearls and spectral arrows, 2 things that I need far, far more than a shitty book. And it's at this time, oh no, we've been found. They're at Jared Town. And Bezo is now fighting for his life. He's running through underground tunnels because, Spawn is a a Swiss cheese maze, and I'm like getting away in the nether at this point, and I'm running opposite direction, complete and total different way. And I'm communicating with Bezo. He's, you know, sort of juking and jiving. We're stream sniping Orson. Orson is really kind of like looking around. You know, he's got a good general overview of the whole situation. And I'm just kind of like, oh God, where do I go? What do I do? And so I'm just kind of like randomly wandering through the nether, trying my best to like make sure they're not on my tail, because what if they split up? You know, it would be 2v1 regardless. But all four of them seem intent on knocking Bezo out of the game, because he's only got 1 life left. And so it makes sense that, you know, they would try to, because a 4v1, like, holy shit, without incredibly good setup, you're not winning a 4v1. You're not winning a 2v1 without incredibly good setup. And so I'm like, okay, well, if I fuck around in this bastion, maybe I can get something good from the chests. And as luck would have it, I have to deal with this piglin brute here real quick. But I make short work of him. He's not really an issue. And I'm like, I want what's in that central chest. And it fucking says, here you are, you're in a bastion. The achievement gives it away. And I'm like, motherfucker, Minecraft is betraying me. It's telling them essentially where I am. And Bezo finally dies to Clown Pierce, who ended up using his elytra to find him on one of the highways. Bezo and I were trying to meet up, but unfortunately it just doesn't pan out. And really not able to do much of anything. I'm just kind of at a loss. Like, I have no game plan. I'm panicking. Like, I take a spill, a really bad fall, and I'm down to a heart. I think 1 heart. I don't know. Bezo is now allowed to give me his items, and so I run away. I'm scared. I'm like, oh God, what if, you know, they're in the area? What if they're trailing me? Because I'm not that far away, realistically. They could maybe trace my trail. I don't know. And so Bezo's like, no, you got time, don't worry. And sure enough, I managed to get all of Bezo's stuff in a chest, figure out what I want, take out what I want of it, make another chest. And I'm kind of like just hunkered down in the area. I'm like, I don't know what I need to do. I don't know what I can do. I'm just kind of panicking. And it's just more me looking to my right, looking at Orson's stream, seeing where the rat pack is, figuring out what I can do about it. And I'm sort of consolidating and making inventory space. I've got a decent amount of stuff. And then I realize I've got all this string. I can make a few beds. Okay, if I make a choke point, if I entice them to come to me, and I'm like, no, don't entice them to come to me. That's foolish. I'll wait for them to maybe come to me. Because at least at that point, maybe I can outlast them. Because as it turns out, there is actually an outlast mechanic here. The session is 3 hours long. I believe by this point we're about almost an hour in. So if we can just survive 2 more hours, the hunters get wiped. They aren't persisting to the next session. Not unless they can kill someone and eliminate their lives. Clown Pierce managed to do that, and so he's going to be playing from this point forward, I believe. So I block up the area, try to make it look natural, and I get a block of obsidian down, and I'm like, okay, if I just hide here, I can maybe make something work. And that's when it occurs to me, oh, I need an escape route. I can't fuck around here. I'm gonna get, this is gonna be a pincer attack. I gotta be able to escape. And so I make this really long tunnel, come out in a warp forest, and I'm just like, all right, come at me. If you guys are gonna come to me, fucking come at me. And I'm sitting here stream sniping Orson the whole time, and I'm like, all right. So glad I chose to not stream, because I couldn't, under any circumstances, I could not show my F3 screen, because I would get fucked. And it's at this time that Fast Vincent, has taken it upon himself to go to 0-0 to challenge the hunters. And as it turns out, Vincent was unable to properly, defeat them. He fell to death, I believe. They weren't able to kill him, thankfully. So it's at this point that I'm like, okay, I can hide a bed behind obsidian in this choke point tunnel. And maybe if they try to come at me, I can blow them up from the side when they're not looking, because they're not going to try to bust through that obsidian. I can maybe hit them with lava, slow them down, something of that nature. I can just place more obsidian to fuck up the tunnel and make it harder for them to, pursue me. I can leave. And I make a side route just because it pays to have a secondary escape route. You never know. And so I just kind of camp here for a tiny bit. And by tiny bit, I mean a good 30 minutes. I'm on pins and needles. Like, this is a really tense situation. I'm crouched down. I'm looking for names. I'm trying to not, get found. I don't want to give away my position. I don't want to give them anything. Should they come after me, I've got a deadly weapon that I can use. I'm bound to take one of them out. At the very least, I'm bound to take one of them out. And so, maybe that's something. More time passes. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on Orson's stream. Nothing really too fancy is happening. This is really kind of the lull in everything. I'm just sort of here. I'm doing the best that I can with what I got. I'm just deciding, what's the best hotbar layout. Oh, and then it's at this point that I see on stream that Orson has teleported to me and has now given away my game plan. Time to fucking make a break for it. And so I do just that. I make a giant break for it across a bunch of land. I know this is no longer a safe area because they know what to expect now. And so I'm like, okay, I can pillar up into the ceiling. I can get into the ceiling area of the Nether. They're not gonna, they're only gonna come from one direction, and that's below. So I now can pretty easily see where they may be coming from. So I can make another, area, and then it dawns on me, oh, I can get on the roof. Oh wait, I don't have a flint and steel. I can't get down if I get on the roof. And I try again, but I'm like, no wait, this is a bad idea. Let me go get a piece of flint. And so I burrow a little farther in, trying to find more pocket of gravel. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can dig up some gold to barter with a piglin, because they give gravel. Find a place, hop down, get a little bit more pork. Try to find some gold nuggets, gold ore. And I'm just deathly afraid of where they may be going, because I'm in a vulnerable position at this point. I don't have my choke point built up. And it's at this point that I'm like, okay, well, not much I can do to help it. I just kind of need to get stuff. People are... the ghosts predominantly are... The most people who die this episode, ironically, are people who are already dead. They're in ghost mode. Orson once again teleports to me. Thankfully, he didn't expose my battle plan, because I hadn't yet made it. But, a lot of the people who are dying this episode are ghosts. They're in spectator mode, and it kills them if they touch the world border, even in spectator mode. Yes, you can die in spectator. Doesn't really matter. It's just silly, but whatever. That happens. Try to get more stuff, barter with some piglins, get a few more spectral arrows. I got a stack finally. I feel that's good enough. I'm not going to get the chance to utilize more than one stack of arrows. Not realistically. I'm probably going to get taken out through other means. And yeah, I just put my ass back up in my little fortress, my little citadel of doom, and I'm just like, okay, come at me. Meanwhile, they're kind of taunting us, saying, come out, you pussy ass bitches, things like that. And I'm like, yeah, but it's to our advantage to not give a shit. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to care. You guys have to find us. They're actually, because the time is really running down now. I know that a lot of this seems like it was, a really short amount of time, but in reality, no, this was 3 hours. I'm cutting down a lot of this. It's at this point we all receive the glowing effect indefinitely. So now we cannot hide, but that's okay because I've got a route to fuck them on the off chance that they should try something. And of course, not really much else they can do. We are all so far flung, and a lot of us are underground, and we're hunkered down. They're not really going to get us. The only person who has any real mobility is Clown Pierce, but he already has his position guaranteed. So he didn't really even have a reason to go out looking for anyone, honestly. So that's really just Syndicate, Kingaros, and Sirach Drop can potentially get back into the running. And so I'm like, all right. You know, come at us. Do what you can. Like, it's on you guys. We have no reason to go out of our way to do anything. And Goljon gets attacked and loses a life to Sirach Drop because Goljon and Maxi Taxi's area where they'd hunkered down had been found. And I'm like, okay, too much time has passed now. They're not going to be able to get me. It's time for me to get closer to 0-0 because I'm really not in a position to worry about it at this point. And that's the end of it. No more. No nothing. We don't gotta worry. The end is finally here. And so all the hunters except for Clown Pierce are now wiped. And we kind of just celebrate the relief of tension because it's no longer an issue. Of course, there are a bunch of people now on 1 life, and those people will be a threat. Because funny enough, all the people with 1 life were not really being a problem. Because we were all, you know, banding together to stay alive. Now that is no longer the issue. That is no longer the case. Now, pretty much everybody except for me and Maxi Taxi, and I want to say Goljon. I may be wrong. He may have 1 life. I think he has 1 life. Yeah, because he died at spawn. So it's really just me and Maxi Taxi who have 2 lives and can reasonably collude. At this point, like, it's just a matter of staying alive, I guess. So I don't know. I will see you guys next time. I wonder what will happen. Ooh. Thanks for watching, guys. Y'all take care. See y'all later. Bye.